See what happens in the earth. They found wormholes, black holes underwater, and they're more frequent underwater. Now they're in the sky, deep up. I know it's backwards when you say deep space and you refer to it as up. And that's the confusion that lies between the existence of aliens, if they're real or fake, or a UFO. So there's black holes, I guess you call them portals. It's an effect of the earth. It's nothing special, but if you want to title it as godly, then that's exactly what it is. I'm not going to take it away from you, because science is science and religion is the psychology of the soul, the heart. There are no pictures. So what I see here is an actual effect of the earth just happening. If you want to say it's Allah, if you want to say it's God, then that's exactly what it is. There's no denying it. When you obtain a degree in a college or any type of institution, it means something. You understand that? When you become a HA, you have a certification, so you passed the test and you came to terms for all situations that this specific thing that happens, anything that happens, any situation that happens, your certification proves that you can handle it, and you proved it. So no matter what, the most that can happen is termination. If they take it criminal, it's because you did something way different. You understand that? So when you get an associate's and then you get a bachelor's, right? You crossed over the line in the government, whether people understand it or not. So whether I'm in debt or anything, it still shows that I graduated an institution and I have this documentation. Now, if you want to call it magic, then you're right about that also. So basically, when you graduate high school, college, you become a magician. Degree, go look up the word degree and go look up the definition of Shahada. If you don't want to put a title named magic, then you use the word degree, or you use the word terrain, or you use the word angle. Now, this is all a part of the earth and of other planets. Is degree. Whether you say it's weather, figure that out. Terrain is land, and angles. Now, if you think about angles, the actual angles with numbers in it, 180, 90s, stuff like that. Okay, that still is related to planet Earth in the universe. You can feel the wind, but you can't see it. Think about a compass. Those are angles. You think about growth from seeds. Those are angles. You think about migrations to other lands. The actual migration is the angle, the movement of land. And then you establish degree, which also means land and terrain, when you settle there. But as you're migrating there, you're degreeing yourself to get there. Then once you get there, you become degreed. Once you're getting hot and you're getting to the place where you want to settle, you're angling yourself to your home. And now once you've made your TP, you're angled with an ED. So this is the circuit of the earth, right?
That we have not been able to explain, and the government now has.
You can't explain it because it doesn't happen a lot. And man isn't that old, and we don't live that long. Tired of hearing that.
So, maybe with the U.S. government, maybe with a pretty flimsy 9-page kind of summarized report, but nevertheless, they don't have answers. They know that UFOs have been cited. That
This is
there are
what
things
now look.
out there.
This is now listen. This is just happened right by my building. You could go check my IG. I still have it in my phone. I had a few encounters where I was able to grab my phone, right, and record. Now you see these damn clouds move all day, every day. Sometimes they don't form. And then when they form, we're not watching them form. So now what you see is a delayed, retarded piece of cloud forming on how it's forming. And it's standing out. Aliens and UFOs are gas. I mean, then what are clouds then? That's clearly a cloud.
John, you've accessed up.
Listen, I know it looks like I promise it was just right over. It was right over my building. The only difference, and you can see it, and I will show it to you, is that there were no clouds where my footage are. It was just the sun was just out. There was no clouds, and it was screeching like fast. Now I'm saying the whole process can be spawned from something like this, like all those big clouds. This little thing right now, you see what I'm saying? Like this little thing when it's nighttime. Let's say it's 3 o'clock at night. This little thing could be in the sky when it's pitch dark. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a location, a magnet, to where this type of air is produced automatically from the world because that's what it is. Never mind these little scary faces and stuff like that. Okay. Never mind that. But that is religion. Do you see what I'm saying? You see the science and the religion? Do you see how this cloud could be spinning at 3 o'clock at night in a dark place? And then all of a sudden the clouds come out. 4 o'clock is dark. And then when the summertime hit 9 o'clock, it's dark. That's a 5-hour difference. So anything can happen in 5 hours. Especially with condensation, fog, precipitation. All of these things are gases. That's it. The reason why you say they're alive, because they probably can't hurt you, because you probably cannot inhale a gas. So that's obvious. If you can't inhale a gas, then yes, the shit is alive. It's ether, and it can hurt you.
Over 2 million pages of government documents under the Freedom of Information Act. You've seen those documents.
So now what we have
here,
you
actually...
right? We have the indigenous feel of Hindu religion. And if you look at the 6 people, 6 gods and goddesses, the jinns, 2 of them play with something that looks like a UFO or like some type of fidget spinner. Vishnu and Shiva does. Vishnu plays with it on the left. I think Shiva does it on the right. I'm not mistaken. But right now we have these women who resemble the indigenousness of the consorts of Hindu religion. And as you can see, these are the best colors that you can reveal something so attention grabbing, right? Because you can't have red and black and blue and black and all types of orange with black. Like, you gotta liven it up. Just remember, the consorts, it was an issue with the consorts. Something had got back with Brahm. Vishnu was turned a certain type of color green, and she was turned to certain gray. The consorts left him. People you know, they insinuate homosexuality, all right. But now what you have is the women being fascinated by it.
Seen something in.
So let's just back it up. I mean, where's the other one?
The New York Times story changed everything.
Whether you accept it or not, some people actually saw this stuff.
Imagine if it was acknowledged that UFOs exist.
Look. Now, I just want to get a quick
The
look
New
at
York
that.
Times story changed
I just want to
everything.
get a quick look if I can catch
Whether you
it.
accept it or not,
That's
some
quick.
people actually saw this stuff.
All right, right there. Right there. Yeah. Do you see how we're digital sometimes? And let me elaborate on that more. The reason why I say we're digital is because we're scheduled. And we're scheduled because you have to work to be able to live. That's just a lesson we learned as being people of the earth and indigenous people because of the weather. When we was over here with nothing, we had to improvise. When we were hungry, we had to improvise. So then there's an effect of human where something is robotic, and then there's an effect where it's like being or opposite of robotic. I don't want to say, you know, deceased is robotic, but you can say that. But what actually is deceased if a body can still move after it's deceased? So let me talk about this little image right here. Now this looks digital and it looks like it belongs underground or maybe really, really high in the sky. So say if it was like delayed, or say if it was retarded, or maybe it wasn't supposed to be caught on camera. Like this bubble, we're gonna call it a bubble, a rock, a mineral, or a magnet, because it does look like a magnet. I'm not gonna say it's cement, but it looks metalish. Now this could be produced underground in a volcano, people. Volcanoes have molten, and molten can actually harden and get shiny. And it also, if it become, not if, but when it becomes shiny, hardened steel like this, it becomes magnetized throughout the earth because the core and the crust of the earth has a magnet, just like the equator, and just like, hello, all them antennas and ships that's up in space that's giving us COVID. There's a new technology up there. That's why the sky feels like that. I know y'all feel it. It feels like we're shadowed by something. And when they said stay in the house because of COVID and we went out, it felt like the air was heavier. That came from metal stuff being in the air. So now you got these pilots complaining about hitting UFOs and almost hitting UFOs, and then they're being too smart and they're dodging a plane, and it's freaking them out because they're trying to run into it because the plane is larger. Do you see the destruction of human beings? That's why if an alien was a human being, an alien would say, can you please stop the nuclear war? Or the nuclear testing. If you're gonna do it, just get it over with. If not, stop testing it in the earth where nobody lives. That's what the alien would say. So now what I'm saying about this little piece right here, this little particle, it looks like technology. The earth been around for forever. Effects happen every so often. Don't get too thrilled out about a storm. That's not too thrilling. As you can see, it's getting weaker because storms aren't as heavy as they used to be, because animals aren't as big as they used to be. Back in the Amazons, animals used to be way bigger. Bees used to be the size of like the TV right now. No exaggeration. Like, I'm dead serious. The Amazons a long time ago, like I'm talking about even after dinosaurs, the animals were still wild big. And bugs were huge. So an anaconda was nothing back in the day. The pineal gland, that's the left side of the brain. The Iahuru, that's what she's pointing out. You see? And when you look at the Iblis and Shiva, people call them cross-eyed or slanted-eyed. It's the Horus, the left side, the degree side, the magician side. So now what this is a functioning going to a magnet. You know why? I can prove it. Because we don't see these joints on the floor. This is not a rock. This is something that goes all the way across the earth and it sticks. You can tell. Because if you tell me it doesn't look like it's just about the, like it's just not about to fly through the planet, and then you know how deep space is black, it looks like it's just about to go all the way up to deep space and just like fit there like a puzzle piece. Because it's a magnet. So if it's a magnet and it's a puzzle, it's going to the right place. If it's a circuit, it's like a domino effect on a string though. You see what I'm saying? So when it falls into the earth, boom, you can't see it because it went to the highest apex. So that's why it becomes digital. You can look at we all looking at it right now, and we can hear it and it's paused. Tell the truth. You can hear silence. It's like putting a gun in your ear. You can hear the barrel. You can hear the silence. So we're watching it right now. And like I said, in college, you got really, or frat and pledge, you really got to use your mind. Honestly and truthfully, if you put your ears literally, just use your imagination, put your ears literally onto that, you feel it. You feel that this joint is silent. It's not going to make a noise. You see what I'm saying? Certain things hovering and makes noises. And then certain things just screeching and mad silent, and but the movement picks up on your eye. So that's the difference. Clouds generating like the water, and there's water holes and wormholes underwater making noise. And then you have a silent creation. The silent creation is the screeching, the flutter, how it flies when it comes from a volcano or anything underground or even water. It comes underwater also. Remember, underwater is a magnet underwater. That's why it's gravity. It has to be a magnet. Everything is not just floating up because there's gravity. Therefore, there's a magnet right below the water, and it won't bust, it won't break. That's why the water isn't leaking from the bottom of Earth. And that's why you can walk on the moon. You can walk on the moon, but you can go into planet Earth. You see how you fly into planet Earth, but you can walk on top of the moon. They said man walked on the moon. The astronauts walked on top of the moon. But when you enter Earth, you actually have to go all the way down into the land. You have to land all the way down. You have to go into the planet, as opposed to walking on top of the planet. So therefore, there's a magnet, and that's a magnet. Duh. Just because a white man didn't create it, just because he didn't create it, it doesn't mean it didn't happen already. You could just look at it and figure it out. That shit is a magnet, and it came from either a volcano or underwater. And what it does is it follows a course, because the whole Earth, the whole universe is a magnet. There's gravity. We're not floating. So therefore, in the universe, there's magnets everywhere. It's surrounded. All right, proceed.
And if it was acknowledged that UFOs exist,
Our own divisions would
Look.
suddenly feel so much smaller.
Out the water. I told you.
The world needs to get ready for what's about to happen.
Director Mark Monroe.
And I can prove it's out the water, because them big ass fish, when they jump out the water, they make your heart pump. Like they was holding our oxygen for us. Like they was holding their breath when they jumped up and they needed some oxygen. And it make our heart pulse like as if we were holding our breath underwater, and we weren't. We just got scared to death. That same type of effect is equivalent to a magnet or some type of bubble being produced underwater. It can happen. There's land underwater.
When UFO enthusiast John Greenwald join us now from the US. Good morning, gentlemen.
They just ain't figure it out, and they making money.
You've been
That's all it is.
answers from the government since you were 15. What got you interested?
I wish I had a great story for you where I had an experience or encounter or something like that. I am driven purely by curiosity. And I started when I was 15
This is called
years
propaganda.
old. I never thought 25 years after that I'd still be going strong, but I've seen enough.
Maybe
to
if an alien
realize
could take
there's something
this type
there.
of look,
They're covering
I'll
something
believe
up,
it.
and I haven't let it go.
But seeing all that other flying shit, that's not amazing to me.
You know,
You see a
is
bird
ample
fly every
evidence,
day.
and I'm talking reams of official U.S.
So
government
therefore, that's
documents
like
that prove
muscle
young
memory
age
from the
got ruled out,
earth,
that
creation
there
of the earth.
absolutely is a
If a
UFO
bird could
cover-up.
fly,
Now,
then a
UFO
bug could
cover-up
fly.
of what?
There's
Well, that's
something
the
else
question that all
solid
of
can
us
be able
wanna
to fly.
answer,
It's
and
the
that's one
manipulation.
that,
It's the angle.
we don't have an answer
It's
to
the
yet.
intelligence,
But there's
IQ.
enough evidence to show us that we need to keep pushing for answers, because this is not as easily explainable as the U.S. government wants us to believe.
Now you see that? You see how the earth is rotating? So therefore, if the earth is rotating, something can come up from rotation, dead center, and stay in the middle. It's just like the space ride, that space ride in the amusement park, the spaceship ride. When you in it and your back is against the wall and y'all spinning fast and somebody that vomit, it stays right there. You know that effect? That's the same thing that's happening on planet Earth. The Earth is spinning fast as hell, and we're really sleeping on how fast the Earth is spinning. And what's going on right now is that the sun is losing its plasma. So this is what's happening. As the world is turning, like the damn soap opera, these things that they call UFOs, these gases, they're delayed. That's why we're seeing them, we're scared. It was supposed to be on a certain time, but human beings messed up everything. So now you see a UFO that's trying to get to its course, right? And it's not supposed to be seen. And it looks retarded. The UFO is actually retarded. Human beings delayed the Earth. So therefore, you made the UFO retarded. And I'm dead serious. You can't tell me nothing different.
There's absolutely something much deeper going on.
Mark, did working on the series, the docu-series, change your views on the existence of UFOs?
Well, I think it opened my eyes. I think for so long in our culture, the whole topic has been kind of ridiculed and mocked, and you only see it really on the covers of the tabloid magazines, National Enquirer, or big Hollywood kind of productions, X-Files and Steven Spielberg movies. And so seeing it on the front page of the New York Times, just seeing UFO on the front page of the New York Times, and this reveal that the government had actually been studying for quite some time, for many years, without telling us, in fact denying that they were doing so, I think that's a big story, and it certainly gets a lot
It's
of
propaganda.
attention on the topic. And without that attention, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. So I thought it was remarkable.
Mark, it's still not unusual though.
No, what they need to do is show the animals and show the insects that they haven't shown yet. Stop showing something that's natural from the earth and making it seem like it's the creatures that you're hiding. That's what the big agenda is. Them little creatures and them shits that you making people sick with, the little dust and everything, the little bugs that y'all got, right? That y'all been testing. Y'all been testing animals. That's how you make a cat, a regular cat and a regular house dog. Those are genetic stem celled animals. Those are domesticated animals made from scientists. We already know it came from Asia. That's where Noah Arks came from. But now tell us about this shit that you didn't show us yet. And you know the shine, the horror that you can get from us as an audience? Stop deflecting that to a UFO. Quote unquote UFO. Something that's just a part of the earth. Something that you could go to Virginia, walk by the train track, and see that shit come right out the train track. Promise. I'll put that on everything. Show us the bugs. Show us the dust, the fairy dust, the gay germ that y'all made, that train shit. Show us all of that. Tell us everything. If you're gonna be real white people, then you have to be real. You can't sit up here and tell us the half truth just because you want society to be your way. You know there's another angle in life that we could take to make our own segregation, free will, right? Again, without taking your trans community, because you won't add the P yourself. You're trying to cross it out. So show us the animals and the insects that you're using to get us sick. Because a regular cat and a regular dog is not living in a fucking jungle. No way, no how. Try again.
For UFO sightings to be ridiculed, do you think your series lends credibility to the idea that they need to be taken seriously?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, I do think, obviously, differentiating between, kind of crackpots and credible
I got this
sources
one
is a big
too.
issue here. And 95%, probably more, of what happens in the skies can be explained. But there is, as John says, there's clear and ample evidence that something
is clearly gas. You're taking the shine from the real shit that you have. Show us that shit that you're hiding, that you're putting in food. Show us that. Stop showing us a fucking sun or star show. Now, if you want to look at my page and talk about this shit, then this right here, this is propaganda. This is propaganda. This is a storm. This is fall, precipitation. We woke up this morning on Christmas Eve and it was snowing. And then it jumped to 47 degrees. Niggas got shorts on and they're about to go out and play basketball. In New York. It's not a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. You're just making money. That's what it is.
Something is going on that we have not been able to explain. And the government now has stated so.
Gas. This shit is
the US
gas.
government made
Minerals.
a pretty flimsy 9-page kind of summarized report, but nevertheless, they don't have answers. They know that UFOs have been cited, that there are things out there that cannot be explained.
John, you've accessed over 2 million pages of government documents under the Freedom of Information Act.
Think about a frisbee. Okay? Now think about a boomerang. That is called angles. Those are angles. That is also called degree. The boomerang comes back to you. A UFO spins around. A frisbee moves in a screeching movement. That's called angles. It's an effect. If you open up a door and the room is on fire, it's a backdraft. Right? Obviously, the earth is rotating in a circle or sphere on flat ground. Obviously, it's flat land in a round sphere. That's obvious because we entered the earth. We flew into the earth. So there's a flat land in a round earth. So y'all both arguing because y'all both right. Now look at the speed. It's a warp speed that's going in one way, whether it's counterclockwise or clockwise. Now think about a boomerang. A boomerang is half a circle. As a matter of fact, it's not even. It's a degreed circle. It's a broken circle. You could actually call a boomerang a broken sphere. But it always is thrown out and it comes back to you. That's a magnet. How is it a magnet? Because how it's shaped. Right. You can't throw a boomerang any old way. You got to throw it a specific way so it could come out to you. So therefore, if a UFO is already made from a volcano or is made from underwater next to the magnet in the crust, the way it's spit out like a volcano is going to take a natural course. It's called gyro. It's called, not the food, not lamb fat, motherfuckers. It's like a car. You know how you got a gyro screw? Gyrotation is a movement. It's a spin. It's like an optic illusion. It spins one way, but it looks like it's spinning the other. So therefore, it can be spinning 4 ways. It has to be spinning an even amount of number of ways as it's being shot up from where it's being shot up, whether it's water or a volcano, or if it came from the sky. It's gyrotation. It's like a ball bearing. A ball bearing in a yo-yo. You know how you put a ball bearing in a yo-yo, you can make it sleep longer, and the yo-yo is spinning? Okay, that's a circuit of the earth.
You've seen those documents, but have you actually seen something in the sky that could not be explained?
No. Why are there bugs dropping out the sky looking like fucking razors? That's what I want to know. Do them shits have hearts? That's what I'm scared of. Do they have hearts? Do they have blood? Do you see what I mean? Human flesh, animal flesh, that's what we eat, but we don't eat bugs. They have green blood. You only see that type of green in a computer. You don't see that type of green shit. You see what I'm saying? You don't see that in a leaf. You see that type of green in a computer. You don't see that on a leaf. And lettuce is air. And when it starts to die, it becomes cautious yellow, then dead brown, which is associated to Alberanian, which is red-skinned Negro nigger, which we are. Where are the bugs coming from? That's what I'm asking from. That's what I'm asking about.
No,
And why in an atomic fucking bomb goes off, do rats and roaches survive and humans can't? And then the people that do survive, they are autistic and retarded afterwards, years after. So you can imagine who's mad about the two, with the Hiroshima and Nashi, the other atomic bomb. Come on.
Government. And when you talk about the UFO records, there are a huge stack of military witnesses and credible witnesses.
Right. But the bees are dying. And the bees are used for agricultural, and the bees is used to harvest, right? Now all of a sudden, we got a killer hornet. This shit come kill people, and it just come kill bees. Alright.
That have come forward with encounters, seeing things, photographing things, even taking videos of them, of craft.
No, because it's coming. That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is coming. The weather's nice, then it's bad, then it's nice, then it's bad. The variant already backfired. If I see another bug or creature, I'm going to get paranoid. I'm sorry. That shit is ridiculous.
Cannot explain. Now that's not me saying they can't explain them. That's the United States military saying we have no idea what these are. And that to me, this goes back to 2019. When I got the Navy to go on the record and say these 3 videos that everybody had been seeing in the media, when they went on the record with me and said that they truly did not know what they were, that was a moment that I fell off my chair, and I don't fall off my chair often. And for them to really say, hey, look, we are clueless on what's going on, and we need to investigate it, that was a big step in showing that this phenomena is not only real, but it is just not solvable at all.
Right. It's not solvable. It's real, and it's not solvable. It is an effect. It's an effect, a special effect of the earth creation. You could go to Virginia and see that bugged out shit. I promise, you'll walk right by your track and that shit will just fly in the sky. I promise, right over the James River. It's called the James River. Actually, you could go by the first White House. That's where the first White House is, in Richmond. I was in Richmond. Well, it's not necessarily in Richmond, but it's outside of Richmond, but it's right there. And that's where you see it, in the James River. The Underground Railroad is right there by my old school, and that shit is deep. And it's a bunch of them. It just wasn't one. Remember that. It's an effect. And the reason why it doesn't happen in New York too much is because of Pathogena, and the sun is away. But when it does happen, it happens at a weird ass, bizarre, scary time. And you can't lie. You can't lie.